Everything seemed fine until, for Daniel, life had become a long list of things he tried to do right. He wasn't perfect, and he knew that. But he got up early most mornings, made coffee for his wife, packed a small lunch to save money, and whispered a quick prayer before opening his laptop at the dining table he'd turned into a home office. He tithed when the salary came in, even when it felt tight. He answered messages from people at church who needed help moving, or a ride, or just someone to listen. He tried to be fair at work, honest in his taxes, kind to the difficult neighbor upstairs with the loud music. Nothing spectacular, just faithful, steady. And if I can say something to you right at the start, if you've ever felt like you did everything right and still ended up in a place that feels very wrong, this time we're spending together is for you. On that Tuesday, the light coming through the kitchen window was soft and gray. His coffee steamed in the mug with the chipped handle. The house was quiet except for the faint hum of the fridge. It was the kind of ordinary morning you don't take a picture of, because it feels like there will be 1,000 more just like it. He opened his email, expecting the usual. Project updates, maybe a reminder about a meeting. Instead, the subject line near the top said, "Important notice regarding your position." He clicked, half distracted, taking a sip of coffee. By the time he reached the second paragraph, the coffee was back on the table, untouched. The email talked about restructuring, about economic conditions, about difficult decisions. It thanked him for his exemplary performance, and then, in a few short lines, cut off the job that had paid his mortgage and health insurance for the last 8 years. There was no warning, no bad review, no "if things don't improve." Just, "Your role has been eliminated. Your last official day will be..." He stared at the screen. The words blurred and came back into focus. He read the email twice, 3 times, waiting to feel something that made sense. What he felt instead was a strange emptiness, like the room had gotten bigger and he'd gotten very small. He pushed the chair back, walked to the sink, and then just stopped. His hands on the counter, the weak winter light on the dishes, the sound of a car passing outside like it was any other day, and inside him, a quiet rising thought. But I did everything right. Later, sitting at the kitchen table, his coffee had gone cold. He wrapped both hands around the mug anyway, just for something to hold. The ceramic was cool and a little sticky from where it had spilled over the rim. He started listing things in his mind, not to be proud, but to stay sane. He hadn't cut corners on his work. He hadn't lied on his reports. He'd stayed late when they needed him. He'd left early only when his son had a doctor's appointment or the school had called. He and his wife had prayed about decisions. They had said no to some things they wanted so they could say yes to what they felt was right. They had tried, honestly tried, to follow God. And yet here he was, laid off by an automatic email that didn't even come from his direct manager. That afternoon, he went to pick up his son from school. On the way back, the boy swung his backpack and talked about a science project. The world outside continued like nothing had happened. Cars lined up at traffic lights. A woman pushed a stroller. A teenager laughed too loudly into his phone. Daniel nodded at his son's story, but his thoughts were heavy, circling the same questions. What did I do wrong? Did I miss a sign? Is God punishing me for something? Or is he just not paying attention? He didn't say those out loud. Some questions feel dangerous, even in your own kitchen. That night, lying in bed, the ceiling looked like a blank screen. He'd prayed the right prayers for years. Thank you. Help me. Lead me. Use me. Now the words stuck in his throat. He had done what they told him. Work hard, be honest, be faithful, trust God. And instead of doors opening, one of the most important ones in his life had slammed shut. Without explanation, without a chance to defend himself. He turned onto his side and watched the faint glow from the streetlights draw a pale line across the wall. It wasn't just the job. It was the years of trying, the decisions he had made because he believed that following God meant walking a certain way. And yet here he was, tired, confused, and if he was honest, a little angry. Not at his boss, not at the economy, at God. He wouldn't say it like that in church, but here, in the dark, it sat heavy in his chest. Why ask me to be faithful, he thought, if it doesn't seem to matter? Maybe your story isn't about losing a job. Maybe it's about a relationship you invested in, did your best in, only to watch it fall apart. Maybe it's about a health journey where you followed every instruction, every treatment, every prayer chain, and the test results still came back with bad news. Maybe it's about years of saying no to things you wanted because you believed God was asking you to live a certain way. And now you're looking at your life thinking, for what? Where is the fruit of all this effort? Maybe that's not exactly your story, but maybe the feeling is familiar. The exhaustion, not just physical but deep in your soul. The frustration of thinking, I did what I was supposed to do. I tried. I stayed. I believed. I was faithful. And it still didn't work. There's a kind of pain that comes when you failed and you know you cut corners or you didn't really try. That pain has somewhere to go. You can say, next time, I'll do better. But there's another kind of pain, the one you might be sitting with right now. The pain of having done your best and watching things still fall apart. That pain has nowhere to go because you can't blame it on laziness. You can't fix it by trying harder. You can't find comfort in saying, I guess I just didn't care enough, because you did care. Maybe you still do. That is the valley this time together exists to sit in with you, not to explain it away, not to tell you that everything happens for a reason, not to suggest that if you just had more faith, things would be different. You've heard all of that. It didn't help. If anything, it probably made you feel worse. In this time we're going to spend together, we'll walk slowly through 4 things: a story, a psalm, a reflection, and a prayer. Not as steps to fix you, not as a formula, more like 4 small lamps along a dark path. Enough light for the next few steps, not the whole map. If you look at the screen right now, you'll see a candle. It's small, just a single flame, surrounded by darkness. But if you watch closely, you'll notice how it moves. A quiet flicker, sometimes almost still, sometimes bending gently when the air shifts. That candle is not meant to be a symbol of a future where everything is finally okay. It's a sign of something else, a reminder that God's light doesn't wait for the darkness to end. It shows up inside it, not at the finish line, in the middle of the night, in a kitchen where the coffee has gone cold, in a bedroom where sleep won't come, in a heart that is tired of trying to make sense of it all. The psalm we're going to sit with was written a very long time ago by people who knew this feeling. The feeling of having done what they believed was right, and still being crushed, confused, and tempted to wonder if God had forgotten them. In that psalm there is a line that says, in simple words, all this happened to us, but we have not forgotten you. We have not been unfaithful to your covenant. That line is going to walk with us all the way through this time, like a thread weaving through your questions and your tiredness. but not yet. For now, I just want you to know, if you are exhausted from trying, if you are out of explanations, if you are sitting in a valley you did not choose and cannot escape, you are not the first person of faith to be here. You're not broken for feeling this way. You're not faithless for asking these questions. You're just human. A human who has tried and is tired. Right now, Daniel is still at that kitchen table staring at his cold coffee. His inbox is still open with that email. The bills haven't disappeared. His questions haven't been answered. God has not explained himself. He's in the valley. And in a way, so are you. We're not going to rush out of it. We're not going to pretend it's not as deep as it feels. We'll bring a psalm into this place. We'll let it sit next to you like a quiet friend. We'll listen for what it might be saying to a heart that has done everything it knew to do and is still hurting. If you're able, just take one slow breath and look at the candle for a moment. Let the light be there next to your questions without trying to answer them. We'll pick up right where we left Daniel, at the kitchen table staring at coffee that's gone cold while the rest of the world keeps moving as if nothing has happened. You might not be sitting at a kitchen table. Maybe you're in a small apartment, on a couch that's seen too many sleepless nights. Maybe you're in a bedroom with clothes piled on a chair because you haven't had the energy to put them away. Maybe you're listening in a hospital corridor, or in your car outside someone's house, delaying going in. But the feeling underneath might be close to his. There's a specific kind of exhaustion that comes when you've actually tried, when you've done the thing people always say you should do. You were faithful. You were responsible. You tried to stay close to God. You made choices you believed were right, even when they cost you. And still, what you hoped for didn't happen. Or it happened for everyone else, but not for you. Or it even got worse. Waking up with that kind of weight is its own kind of grief. You open your eyes and for half a second, there's nothing. Just the ceiling, or the light from the window, or the glow of your phone on the nightstand. Then the memory hits. The diagnosis, the breakup, the job loss, the dream that slipped away, the same unsolved problem that has been staring at you for months or years. And underneath all of that, one quiet, heavy thought. I did what I was supposed to do. Why am I here? That question can feel almost dangerous to say out loud, so you swallow it. You nod when people say, God is in control. You say amen when someone reminds you that all things work together for good. But deep down, something in you is tired of this math that doesn't add up. You didn't ignore God. You didn't walk away from Him. You didn't treat His words like decoration. You tried to live them. You followed the precepts, or at least honestly tried. You said no to what you believed would pull you away. You said yes to what you believed He was asking. And yet here you are, living a story that doesn't look like the one you thought faith would write. There's another layer to this that's hard to admit, the sense of injustice. Not in a self-pitying way, but in that quiet, bewildered way. Why does the person who cuts corners seem to be thriving? Why did that person who never cared about God get the thing I have been praying for years? Why does my obedience feel like it led me into a desert, while other people's indifference seems to have led them into a garden? Maybe you wouldn't dare say it out loud in church, but here, in this quiet space, it's okay to admit it. It doesn't feel fair. And you're tired. Tired of waiting. Tired of hoping. Tired of trying to make yourself okay with it when you're not. There's also that hidden fear. If I admit how angry and confused I am, maybe that means my faith is broken. If I say out loud that I feel let down by God, will He turn away from me? So you carry the questions and the frustration by yourself. You show the polite version to others. Inside, though, you might be thinking, what's the point of praying if this is what happens? What's the point of being faithful if it doesn't change anything? Does God actually see what this is costing me? If any of this touches something in you, you're not alone. Not even a little. 3,000 years ago, there were people who felt exactly this. Not vaguely similar. Exactly this. They had tried to walk with God. They had kept His ways as best they knew how. And then they were hit with suffering that did not match the story they expected. They didn't respond with polite, polished prayers. They didn't say, well, God knows best, and leave it there. They brought their confusion and exhaustion straight into their relationship with Him. That's where Psalm 44 comes in. This psalm wasn't written by someone who had seen every prayer answered, whose life lined up neatly with their faith. It was written by people who looked around at their situation and said something like, everything has gone wrong. We've been crushed. We've been humiliated. We've been brought low. And then in the middle of that they say, all this happened to us, but we have not forgotten you. We have not been unfaithful to your covenant. I want to sit with that line for a moment, piece by piece. All this happened to us. That's not soft language. That's the voice of someone looking around at loss, defeat, disappointment. Maybe it was war for them. Maybe it was national disaster. For you, it might be a broken marriage, a stalled career, a closed door, a quiet house that used to be full. When you hear, all this happened to us, maybe there's a part of you that wants to answer, all this happened to me. The unexpected diagnosis, the job that disappeared, the relationship that ended after you fought for it, the years of praying for something that still hasn't come. God, all this happened to me. But we have not forgotten you. This is where the psalm feels especially close to the kind of pain you might be carrying. They're not saying, we're perfect. They're not saying, we never struggled. They're saying, we didn't walk away from you. You might be able to say something similar. You kept showing up. You kept praying even when the words were dry. You kept holding on even when you didn't feel much. You didn't forget God, even if you didn't always understand Him. There's a quiet dignity in that, and also a quiet ache. God, I did not forget you. I kept you in my decisions. I invited you into my plans. I tried to follow you. And we have not been unfaithful to your covenant. In simple words, that's like saying, we kept our side of this as far as we knew how. If you translate that into your own life, maybe it sounds like, I tried to live the way you say is good. I stayed when I could have left. I forgave when I could have held a grudge. I chose honesty when lying would have been easier. I honored you with my body, my money, my time, my choices. And still, this is happening. Psalm 44 doesn't shut that feeling down. It doesn't say, well, technically you also sinned here and here, so this is on you. It lets the tension stand. All this happened, and still we haven't turned our backs on you. That's one of the reasons this psalm matters for someone like you, right now. Because it gives shape in God's own book to the experience of a person who is suffering without a simple cause and effect explanation. Not suffering because they didn't try hard enough. Not suffering because they weren't faithful enough. Suffering even though they were trying to walk with God. The psalm doesn't function as a theological essay here. It functions like a companion, like someone sitting next to you saying, you're not crazy. This is confusing. This is painful. And yes, sometimes this happens even when you've been faithful. If you glance at the candle again for a second, notice something. The flame doesn't make the darkness vanish. The room around it is still mostly dark, but the candle says quietly, "There is light here too." In the same way, this psalm doesn't erase your questions. It doesn't make your loss smaller. It doesn't suddenly give you a neat answer to why all this happened when you tried so hard to do things right. It does something else. It tells you that your experience belongs in the conversation with God, that you don't have to pretend this all makes sense, that you don't have to blame yourself for not trying enough when you know very well how much it cost you to be faithful. We've been sitting with that line from the psalm like a quiet echo. All this happened to us, but we have not forgotten you. You know what all this means in your life. You don't need help making that list. What I want to do now is go deeper into what this psalm offers, not as a lecture, but as a few pictures that can breathe in the same room as your tired heart. Psalm 44 uses images that run through Scripture, but here they're covered with dust and tears. They don't feel like shiny promises. They feel like things you cling to when you don't understand anything else. I want to sit with two of those images in particular and keep coming back to them. God is a refuge, and yet life still hurts. God's people saying, "We have not forgotten you," from the floor, not from the stage. These two live exactly where you are, in the valley where faith and disappointment sit at the same table. The psalm has this underlying picture. God is king. God is the one who saves, who acts, who protects. It's there in the way they speak. You, not our own strength, are the one who saves us. In simple language, that's, God, you are my king. You're the one I trusted. You're the one I counted on. So let me ask you, what does it do to a heart when the one you called king seems to be silent while you're being crushed? Maybe you remember seasons where you felt God's help more clearly. A provision that came at the right time. A word of encouragement that landed exactly when you needed it. A sense of guidance that felt almost like a hand on your shoulder. And now, in this particular valley, it feels like nothing. In the psalm, they're basically saying, God, you're our king. You're the one we told stories about. We heard how you came through for others. We've been calling you our refuge, our help. So why are we being humiliated now? Why are we being defeated? Have you felt something like that? God, I called you provider, and here I am, counting coins and worrying about the future. God, I called you healer, and the test result hasn't changed. God, I called you faithful, and I'm sitting in the ruins of something I believed you were building. The psalm doesn't tell them to shut up and accept it. It lets them say it. Sometimes faith looks less like, God, you've been so good to me, and more like, God, you are my king, and I don't understand your silence. The line that keeps pulling us back is this: all this happened to us, but we have not forgotten you. We have not been unfaithful to your covenant. I want to stay with the place this sentence is spoken from. They're not saying this in a moment of triumph. They're not celebrating answered prayer. They're not giving a testimony after the breakthrough. They're saying it while they're on the floor. It's like someone on the ground, bruised and confused, looking up at God and whispering, I don't understand any of this. I feel abandoned. I feel like you've pushed me aside. But Yunlak, I haven't forgotten you. I'm still talking to you even now. Where in your own life have you said, in your own way, I haven't forgotten you, even while you were hurting? Maybe it was staying faithful in a relationship that ended anyway. Maybe it was giving generously when you could have kept everything, and then you still faced lack. Maybe it was honoring God with your body, your integrity, your word, and then watching other people ignore all of that and still seem to win. You might not feel very spiritual right now. You might feel tired, numb, angry, or just done. But the fact that you're here, listening to a reflection on a psalm, tells me something already. There is still a thin, stubborn thread in you that has not completely let go. Sometimes faith is not, I feel close to God. Sometimes faith is, I'm still turning toward you even when this makes no sense. That's what this psalm is modeling. Not impressive faith, but persistent faith. Another image in the psalm is the language of being crushed, brought down, covered in shame. It's the feeling of being on the losing side of life, of being the one people whisper about, of being the one whose story doesn't get told on Victory Sundays. If your life right now feels like a string of quiet defeats, you might know this feeling. Seeing others announce the job promotion while you're updating your resume again. Hearing engagement stories and baby announcements while you sit with another year of waiting. Watching people share before and after testimonies while you're still stuck in the before. In the Psalm's language, it's like saying, God, we're the ones being crushed here. We're the ones being dragged through the mud. We're the ones people point at. And as far as we can tell, we didn't abandon you. That's the tension the psalm refuses to solve quickly. It doesn't say, you must have sinned, or this wouldn't happen. It doesn't say, if you just had more faith, you'd be winning by now. It shows people who are both crushed, confused, humiliated, and still clinging to God, even if all they can say is, where are you? Is it possible that you are crushed, but not faithless? That the fact you are tired, questioning, angry, disappointed, does not erase the years you have walked with God, the choices you made out of love for Him, the prayers you prayed in the dark. Maybe the story you've secretly believed is, if my life looks like this, I must have failed God somewhere. Psalm 44 sits beside you and quietly suggests another line. Sometimes the valley comes even when you have walked in faithfulness. Not instead of it, alongside it. That doesn't make the pain smaller, but it does remove one cruel lie, that this is all your fault because you didn't try hard enough. You know how hard you tried. God knows too. The central image I want to keep threading through this whole journey is simple. God is a refuge in a story where things are still going wrong. Normally, when we hear God is my refuge, we picture safety, calm waters, relief. But in Psalm 44, it's different. They're saying with their lives, you are our refuge, our God, and we are still in trouble. That sounds almost wrong, but it might be the truest thing you can say right now. Maybe for you, God being a refuge doesn't look like every bill paid on time, every relationship healed, every prayer answered the way you hoped. Maybe in this season, God being a refuge looks more like the fact that you haven't completely collapsed, even though you've come close, the fact that you are still capable of turning toward Him, even in confusion, the fact that your story with God is still open, even when you're not sure what to say. If you stop trying to make God the one who fixes everything quickly, and instead, just for a moment, allowed Him to be the one who sits with you while nothing makes sense yet, what would that change in how you see Him? Refuge doesn't always mean escape. Sometimes it means presence, not removing the valley, being with you in it. That's where the candle comes back in. If you look at it again, notice this. The darkness around it hasn't changed. The room is still the room. The shadows are still there. But the candle is not arguing with the dark. It's just there, burning, steady, even when the flame trembles. In a way, this is what Psalm 44 is doing for you. It's not arguing with your pain. It's not telling you to cheer up. It's not giving you a formula. It's a small flame in a very dark room saying, "You can tell God the truth about how unfair this feels. You can say, 'All this has happened and I still haven't forgotten you.' You can be both faithful and frustrated, and you are not outside of His story because of that. Sometimes faith is not feeling God close. Sometimes faith is staying in the conversation when He feels far. You don't have to understand God to be held by God. Sometimes words need to stop, and the silence does what no sentence can. You've been holding a lot inside you. Memories, questions, disappointments. That heavy sense of, I did everything I knew to do, and I still ended up here. For a moment, you don't need to solve any of that. You don't need to pray the right way. You don't need to understand what God is doing. Just be here. If you can see the candle, let your eyes rest on it. Notice how simple it is. Wax, wick, flame. The room around it is still dark. The shadows haven't disappeared, but the flame keeps burning anyway. Watch how it moves, just a little. Sometimes steady, sometimes bending. It doesn't shout. It doesn't try to impress you. It simply says without words, "You are not alone in this darkness." If it helps, take one slow breath, in and out. You don't have to push your feelings away. You don't have to force yourself to feel anything holy. Just let the candle stand for this one simple thought. God is here. Not loudly, not obviously, but quietly, like a flame in a dark room. Let that be enough for this moment. We're coming back now from that small quiet pause, from just watching the candle and breathing, into the same reality you were in before. The problems haven't changed. The questions haven't vanished. The exhaustion is probably still there, but maybe something in you is just a fraction softer, a little more open, even if only by a millimeter. That's enough. I want to walk with you now into a deeper reflection, not to give you answers, but to stand with you in 3 movements, going down into the difficulty without looking away, naming the honest tension without pretending we can fix it, gently shifting how you stand inside this valley, not out of it, but in it. All the way through, I want to keep one image close, a person in the valley saying, "All this has happened to me, and I have not forgotten you." And God is a quiet refuge inside that valley, not just at the exit. I don't want to rush past the reality of what you're carrying. There is a particular kind of pain that comes when you've tried to be faithful, when you've done everything right as far as you knew, and you still end up here. It's not just disappointment. It's something deeper. It's the feeling that the script you were living by suddenly doesn't work anymore. You might have built your decisions on a quiet belief that sounded something like, if I do what's right, if I stay faithful, if I trust God and follow His ways, then things will in some deeper way work out. Not perfectly, not without struggle, but you expected some kind of alignment between your faithfulness and your story. And now you're looking at your life and thinking, I stayed, I forgave, I gave, I waited, I obeyed, and still my marriage ended, or still my health broke down, or still my career collapsed, or still I ended up alone, or broke, or burned out. There's a word for that: betrayal. Not that God has actually betrayed you in some cruel sense, but it feels like that, like someone moved the rules halfway through the game and didn't tell you. And then, to make it worse, you sometimes hear people suggesting that if you had just done a little more, prayed more, believed more, tried harder, things would be different. That's a heavy lie to carry on top of everything else. Psalm 44 refuses that lie. It says, in effect, all this has happened to us. And no, it's not because we forgot you. No, it's not because we walked away. There is something almost holy about a person who stands in ruins they didn't cause, with exhausted eyes, and still says, God, I haven't let go of you. Not with fireworks, not with strong feelings, just, I'm still here. But that still here is heavy. It might come with anger. Anger that you probably don't feel free to admit. Anger that sounds like, God, I did what you asked. I sacrificed. I trusted you with my future. I made decisions because I believed you cared. And now I feel like I'm the one who paid the highest price. That anger is frightening because it's not toward a random person. It's toward God. So you push it down. You tell yourself, I shouldn't feel this way. You add guilt on top of grief, like extra weight on a tired back. The God of Psalm 44 is not surprised by that anger. He let this psalm be part of Scripture, a psalm where people say, all this has happened and it feels like you're asleep, and yet we haven't forgotten you. He is not asking you to pretend you're okay when you're not. He's asking you to bring the not okayness to Him instead of away from Him. Even if all you can say is, all this happened to me, and I don't understand you at all right now. Here's the part that isn't easy to say, but it's true. I don't have an explanation for why your story looks like this. I don't know why you gave so much, tried so hard, prayed so honestly, and ended up here. I don't know why someone who seemed careless about God got the thing you begged for. I don't know why the door stayed shut when you knocked with faith. And I don't want to insult your pain with cheap answers. Sometimes in spiritual spaces we try to tidy things too quickly. Maybe you've heard, God must be preparing something better. This is just a test. One day you'll thank Him for this. Maybe. Maybe not. But right now, those sentences can hurt more than they heal. Psalm 44 holds a tension that many people are uncomfortable with. People who are genuinely seeking to be faithful. Deep suffering that does not have a clear cause. A God who is still addressed as our God, even when He seems hidden. The psalm doesn't resolve that tension. It doesn't suddenly say, oh, now we see. It was all because of this one reason. It ends with a cry, rise up, help us, redeem us because of your unfailing love. That's not resolution, that's relationship, inside unresolved pain. We spend a lot of energy trying to prove to ourselves that God is fair according to our idea of fairness. That exhaustion is its own burden. The psalm gently invites you to do something different, to bring your confusion into your relationship with God, instead of making understanding a condition for staying close to Him. They start with, all this has happened to us. They insist, but we have not forgotten you. They confess, it feels like you are asleep. It feels like you've turned away. And then they end with, rise up and help us. Redeem us because of your love. That last part is the reorientation. They're no longer trying to argue. Help us because we've been so faithful. Help us because we did everything right. Instead, they collapse, in the best way, into something deeper. Help us because of your love. In your life, that reorientation might sound like this. God, I have tried to do everything right, but my hope cannot rest on my performance. My hope has to rest on who you are, even when I don't understand what you're doing. That doesn't make the valley shrink, but it shifts where you lean. You stop leaning so hard on the idea, if I do X, God must do Y, and slowly start resting a little more on, even here, with all of this, your love for me hasn't switched off. Let's bring back the central image of the psalm. This is the moment where it deepens. All this has happened to us, but we have not forgotten you. At the beginning, that line might have sounded like a kind of contract. We did our part. Why didn't you do yours? Now, after sitting in the valley, after watching the candle, after hearing the honesty of why do you sleep, that same line can mean something slightly different. All this has happened, and yet somehow my heart still turns toward you. Not because I understand you, not because I feel rewarded, but because even tired and angry and confused, I still believe you are my refuge. Refuge not as the one who always keeps bad things away, but as the one who sits with you when the bad thing is already here. Instead of spending all your energy proving that your faithfulness should have protected you from this valley, you allow yourself to believe that God's faithfulness can meet you in this valley. He is not just at the exit with a checklist. He is in the middle with you. So what does that look like in practice? It might be as simple and as hard as this. You stop blaming yourself for not trying enough when you know you did. You stop forcing yourself to pretend this feels fair. You allow your prayers to be raw and small. Help me stand in this, God. You let all this has happened, but I have not forgotten you be a description of your heart, not a demand for results. And when the thought comes, what was the point of all that faithfulness if I ended up here? You might slowly reply, God, I don't know the point. I really don't. But I know this. Even in this valley, my story with you is not over. The candle helps here. Remember, the light is not at the end of the tunnel. It exists inside it. Your life right now may feel like the deepest part of that tunnel. Cold, silent, unfair. But even here, the flame of God's presence has not gone out. You may not feel warmth, you may not see clearly, but the light is still burning. Sometimes reorientation is nothing more glamorous than this. God, I am still here, exhausted, frustrated, questioning, but still turn toward you. Stand with me in this valley. God in the valley. Not God at the finish line, not God in the testimony video. God in the half-finished story. God in the room where you're crying on the floor, or staring at the wall, or scrolling numb on your phone because you can't bear the silence. The psalm won't promise you an exit date from this valley. Neither will I. But it does bear witness to something quietly powerful. There is a way to remain in relationship with God even here, to say, all this happened to me, and I have not forgotten you, and to let Him somehow be your refuge in what you don't understand. You're still in the same valley. Nothing on the outside has shifted, but you've stayed here, listening, feeling, maybe fighting back tears, maybe feeling numb. That, in itself, says something about you. You could have clicked away. You could have shut down. Instead, you stayed. I want to carry the tone of what we just walked through into this moment and gently turn toward prayer. Not as a performance, not as a moment where everything changes, but as a simple, honest conversation with God from right where you are. This is for the person who followed the rules as best they could, who tried to be faithful, who did everything right as far as they knew, and still ended up tired, disappointed, maybe feeling a bit betrayed by the story they're living in. If that's you, then this prayer is your space. You don't have to agree with every word. You don't have to feel anything special. You can let the words wash over you like someone else carrying a bit of the weight for a few minutes. You don't need to do anything dramatic, but sometimes a small physical gesture can help your heart become a little more present. You might place a hand over your heart, just to remember that this is where the ache is, and this is where God meets you. You might close your eyes for a moment if it feels safe to let the world around you fade a bit. You might rest your gaze on the candle, watching the flame as we pray, letting it remind you of God's quiet presence in the valley. You might simply take one slow breath, in and out, as a way of saying without words, I'm here. None of this is required. These are invitations, not instructions. If all you can do is sit and listen, that is more than enough. You could be doing 1,000 other things right now, scrolling through something lighter, distracting yourself, escaping into noise, but somehow you're here, listening to words that keep circling around the same simple truth. All this has happened to us, but we have not forgotten you. Maybe you clicked this by chance. Maybe a friend sent it to you. Maybe it just appeared in front of you at the moment you were willing to give something one more try. I don't know how this reached you, but I believe that God can work with exactly what you've brought here. Your exhaustion, your confusion, your anger, your half-belief. Even your I'm not sure I trust you anymore, God. He's not waiting for you to tidy all of that up. He meets you in the middle of it. Even if all you can say inside is, if you're real, I need you to at least hear me. That's enough. You don't have to feel anything special for this to matter. Just being here is already more than you think. Now I want to pray with you. Lord, I want to talk to you about this one person who is listening right now. You see them. You see where they are sitting. You see the tiredness in their body, in their eyes, in their heart. You know the story behind that tiredness. You know how much they have tried. You know the nights they lay awake and decided again, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to trust you. You know the choices they made because of you, the things they walked away from, the things they stayed in, the lines they didn't cross, the honesty they kept when lying might have been easier. You know every yes they whispered in your direction. You know every no they said to themselves because they believed you were asking it. You know every act of obedience that happened in hidden places. You know every secret tear they wiped away after doing what they believed was right. And you also know what happened next. You know the job that ended even after years of integrity. You know the relationship that fell apart, even after so much forgiveness and effort. You know the diagnosis that came after so many prayers for healing. You know the waiting that stretched on and on and on after they trusted you with their future. You have seen them sit there and think, Lord, I did everything I knew to do. I tried to be faithful. Why am I here? You have heard the questions they're almost afraid to say out loud. Did I get it all wrong? Did I misunderstand you? Did you forget me? Did you turn away while I was trying to follow you? You've heard the thoughts they keep to themselves. It doesn't feel fair. It doesn't feel like it matches what I was told about faith. It feels like I'm being punished, and I don't even know for what. Lord, I'm bringing all of that to you now, not softened, not cleaned up. This is someone who is deeply tired, tired of trying, tired of hoping, tired of hearing easy answers, tired of wondering if they somehow ruined everything without realizing it. They are like the people in that psalm who said, all this has happened to us, but we have not forgotten you. We have not been unfaithful to your covenant. This is their reality. All this has happened to them. They did not forget you, and they are hurting. God, I'm asking that you would receive that truth as it is. No pretending, no performance. Just one person in a valley saying, I tried, Lord, and I'm exhausted. And now, Lord, in this same place, I want to speak something into the dark. You are here. Not because they feel you, not because anything around them confirms it, but because you don't leave. You are here in the room where they are listening. You are here in the heaviness in their chest. You are here in the questions that haven't been answered. You are here in the anger they're scared to admit. You are here in the numbness that makes it hard to pray. You are not asleep even though it feels like it. You have not turned your face away even though they don't see you. You have not written them off even though they sometimes feel like a failure. You are the same God who let Psalm 44 be written, a psalm that says, "All this has happened to us, and we have not forgotten you," and then dares to say, "Rise up, wake up, don't reject us forever." You were not offended by those words then. You are not offended by their honest heart now. Lord, I'm asking that your quiet presence would settle around them like a blanket. Not a feeling they have to chase, but a reality that holds them even when they feel nothing. Be the flame in their darkness, small, steady, not shouting, just there. And Father, I want to ask for specific things for this person, not general blessings, concrete help. I ask you for the next morning when they open their eyes and the weight drops back onto their chest. Give them enough strength for that one morning, not for the whole year, just for getting out of bed, for brushing their teeth, for taking the next small step. When the thought comes, what's the point? Meet them there. Give them one line, even if it's as simple as, "All this has happened to me, but I have not forgotten you." Let that line be a handle in the storm, more than a verse in a book. When the anxiety spikes, in the car, in the hallway, in the kitchen with the cold coffee, breathe a little calm into their body. Slow their racing thoughts, even for a moment. When night comes and the house is quiet and their mind tries to replay everything they did, everything they didn't do, and all the alternate stories of how life should have turned out, I ask you for one small island of stillness. Maybe just enough peace to exhale, maybe enough to say before sleep or before another restless night, "God, you see all that has happened to me. You know I tried. Stay with me." For the shame that creeps in, the feeling that they must have failed you, that their life is proof they didn't have enough faith, that others are better believers because things worked out for them. Speak against that lie inside them. Remind them, even if it's only a whisper, that you see every decision they made out of love for you. You see every no that cost them something. You see every quiet act of obedience that nobody clapped for. Let them know, deep, even if quietly, that their faithfulness has not been invisible to you. And in the places where they are angry with you, where they feel let down, where they don't recognize you anymore, give them courage to bring that anger to you instead of away from you. Let them know you'd rather hear a raw, honest, "Where were you?" than a polished, fake, "I'm fine." You are big enough to hold their disappointment. Lord, when they look at the candle, or even just picture it, let it become a small, steady reminder. Your light is in this valley, not only at the end of it. You are not waiting on the other side with a report card. You are sitting on the floor with them now. And now, God, I want to bring this to the deepest place. This person has been leaning so hard on what they did, on their efforts, their obedience, their attempts to get it right. Tonight, I'm asking you for a gentle shift, not a scolding, a reorientation. Teach their hearts slowly that their hope is not in this equation. If I do everything right, life will go the way I hoped. Let their hope rest instead on something firmer. Your love, not a sentimental idea. A love that stays when results don't match expectations. a love that holds when stories break, a love that sees, remembers, accompanies. Let them be able to say, even with trembling lips, all this has happened to me, and I still have not forgotten you. Not because I understand you, not because I feel rewarded, but because somehow I still believe you are my refuge. Be that refuge, Lord. Not necessarily by changing everything right now, though you can, and you know where that would be mercy, but by being the one they can lean on when they are too tired to stand on their own. And now, Lord, this last part, I want to lay something down with them. They have been carrying this weight alone for a long time, the weight of trying to make sense of it, the weight of trying not to be angry, the weight of trying to fix their faith, the weight of feeling responsible for outcomes they could never control. I can't ask you to erase their pain. I can't promise them that everything will get better tomorrow, but I can join them in this simple surrender. God, this weight is too heavy to carry alone. So right now, in this quiet moment, with whatever faith they have, a lot, a little, almost none, they place this in your hands. The confusion, the anger, the exhaustion, the why, the what was the point. They're not giving it to you because it's solved. They're giving it to you because carrying it by themselves is breaking them. Take this weight from their arms, Lord, not away from their life yet maybe, but out of their grip. Let them rest their soul for a moment. Let this one simple sentence become true for them. I don't have to carry this alone anymore. Hold them in that, Lord, tonight, tomorrow, in the valley for as long as the valley lasts. Amen. If you're still here breathing, listening, maybe a little raw, God heard that prayer. Not as something general floating in the air, but as something spoken with you in mind. You're not weak for being exhausted. You're not faithless for being confused. You're not invisible to God because things didn't turn out like you hoped. All this has happened to you. You tried. You really tried. And God has not forgotten you. Whenever this weight presses on you again, tomorrow, next week, months from now, you can come back to these words and let them sit with you again. You don't have to walk this valley in silence.